Barbados is expected to generate in revenue double what it spends to host the T20 World Cup. BARP joins the wider global community in commemorating International Women's Day. 6 new disciplines added for the 2024 National Senior Games. And in sports, Barbados register back-to-back victories in the Women's Super 50.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Good evening, I'm Pearson Bowen. Barbados is forecast to make close to $120 million from the hosting of the 2024 ICC Men's T20 World Cup. The projections were shared by Chairman of the National Organizing Committee, Noel Lynch, during a press briefing this morning. Sharika Griffith has the details.
The revenue generated from hosting this year's ICC Men's T20 World Cup is expected to far outstrip the costs. Chairman of the National Organizing Committee, Noel Lynch, says the cash cost of hosting the international event is estimated to be $49.5 million, of which $37 million has been set aside for improvements to Kensington Oval's infrastructure. On the revenue side, the total cash benefits are forecast to be $119.7 million, the lion's share of which is anticipated to be as a result of visitor spend.
Conservatively, we are saying that we can get this is what into the bid, 25,000 people coming to Barbados during the month of June for the World Cup at a length of stay of 6 nights. We're saying of visitor nights, we're saying that we can get 150,000 room nights out of this World Cup. And then the total visitor spend will be somewhere in the region of $105 million. Now, if that happens, and these are obviously, these are big numbers for Barbados, but this is making a business case, immediate benefits to the country from this World Cup.
The country is also expected to benefit from a facelift as improvements are planned for several locations.
Pelican Village is an iconic place. We think it should be doing better than it's doing. And many things have been tried there. But we're going to do some things with the traffic in terms of maybe traffic changes that we're recommending. And we're also going to be bringing alive a fan zone at Pelican Village to ensure that Pelican Village does come alive. We're working with BTII for the rejuvenation of Bridgetown, generally the town center itself. The town center manager has met with us. We've had meetings with them. We're bringing that, and we're also bringing back Oistins. There's going to be a full refurbishment of Oistins to bring it up to the standard that we think it should be at.
And with thousands of visitors expected on island, Mr. Lynch says safety will also be a top priority.
There's going to be a lot of signage at Grantley International Airport. We're working with them in terms of the facility of people through. There are going to be new scanners are going to be bought, mobile scanners to get teams through as seamlessly as possible, but with security. We're having the security forces meet here in this room. 35 agencies meet to ensure that Barbados is a very secure place, given all of the global conflict that we're facing. And we don't want Barbados to be a target for any place during the World Cup finals.
Local vendors will be encouraged to line the streets around Kensington to reap some of the benefits of the bumper crowds. Sharika Griffith, CBC News.
Barbados Prime Minister Mia Amor-Motley has held talks with her Canadian counterpart Justin Trudeau about recent developments in Haiti. This has been confirmed by the Office of the Prime Minister of Canada. It states the two leaders expressed their deep concern over the increasing gang violence and turbulence Haiti is experiencing. Ms. Motley and Mr. Trudeau agreed on the urgency of deploying the UN-authorized multinational security support mission to advance efforts from the Haitian National Police to improve security conditions for civilians. Prime Minister Trudeau expressed his appreciation for Barbados' commitment to contributing security personnel to the mission and underscored that Canada remains committed to working with Barbados, Kenya, and other partners to support a successful mission. Barbados and Canada also discussed the important role of regional grouping CARICOM to promote inclusive political dialogue in support of a Haitian-led solution to the crisis. The leaders reiterated the critical need of reaching an inclusive political consensus to create the conditions for free and fair general elections and for the restoration of democratic order in Haiti. Well, Haiti's government has extended a state of emergency and nighttime curfew in an attempt to curb the gang violence and protests plaguing the country. An initial 3-day curfew was announced last weekend, but gangs have continued to attack police stations and other state institutions at night.
They say they are in charge, gangs controlling the streets of Port-au-Prince. On Thursday, firefights between armed groups and the police were ongoing in Haiti's capital. Prime Minister Ariel Henry remains in the U.S. territory, Puerto Rico, unable to return to his country. Gangs say his return will trigger a civil war and are demanding his resignation.
We will not allow Ariel Henry to return. He's not good for Haiti.
The State Department says it's pushing Ariel Henry, who was not elected, to collaborate with a transition into a more inclusive government that will lead to free elections. As violence continues in the capital, port authorities were forced to halt operations after dozens of people looted the containers. Food distribution has become a problem as lawlessness looms across the country. The World Food Programme says they had to suspend their sea operations to distribute food because of the severity of the situation.
Ariel Henry did not rule the country well. He's traveling and we are starving.
The chaos in the country has forced the Dominican Republic to increase security at the border between both countries. Haitians are not allowed to cross into the Dominican Republic. They're only permitted to reach a market to find crucial food and medical supplies to sell or take back.
Barbados joins in the global commemorations this International Women's Day as citizens, the government and organizations pay respect and celebrate the remarkable achievements of women and girls. This year's global theme, Inspire Inclusion, highlights that women participation in society is essential. The Barbados Association of Retired Persons acknowledged the strides made by women locally, regionally and globally. President Marilyn Rice-Bowen pledged her and the association's commitment to facilitating and advocating for other organizations and agencies, government and the business community to support women in all spheres of life.
Women occupy high office in both the public and private sectors, and our contributions are making a difference. They are being recognized and even applauded, but in some quarters our contributions are still undervalued. The fight for equality continues. On this International Women's Day, we embrace the theme, Invest in Women, Accelerate Progress. We endorse the focus to address economic disempowerment, inspire inclusion, as well as highlight the significance of diversity and empowerment across all sectors of society.
Meanwhile, women are encouraged to be steadfast in their conviction and not be daunted by the many distractions which seek to derail the progress movement of taking the female gender forward. This was the sentiment expressed by Minister of State in the Ministry of Education, Sandra Husbands, as she addressed a panel at a specially designed workshop and opening ceremony for International Women's Day at the Accra Beach Hotel. Minister Husbands lamented the fact that a lot of false information exists to condition women and keep them trapped in particular stages of life. She says this is worrisome for her after all the strides that have been made.
We spent a long time, and Billy Miller was in the forefront of this, not only nationally, but internationally, the whole thing of family planning. And women were able to come out from a situation where they were just getting pregnant just because they were fertile and not because they were able to make choices. And we were able to come to a place where women could begin to make choices about their families. But what we're finding in some communities now is that people are returning to the bondage. And it is absolutely mind-blowing to the rest of us who fought so hard to get out of that space to suddenly find that there is a generation of girls who are not making informed choices.
6 new disciplines have been added for the 2024 National Senior Games. This was revealed by Minister of People Empowerment and Elder Affairs Kirk Humphrey during the launch of this year's Games. Sharika Griffith was there and filed this report.
Organizers of the National Senior Games are promising participants and spectators the 20th edition will be even bigger and better than past versions.
This year we have 19 disciplines compared to the 13 disciplines we had last year. So we have 6 new disciplines. I want to encourage other disciplines to come on. I want to thank those that came on. I'm told you'll be happy to hear that bodybuilding has also come on.
Elder Affairs Minister Kirk Humphrey was speaking during the launch at the Vauxhall facility for senior citizens. He's encouraging more people to take part in the various disciplines between May 5th and 20th.
The results of the last census has told us that Barbados now has, for every person over 65, that's 1 in 5. For persons over 60, that's 1 in 4 in Barbados. That's a very old population. If you look at the trajectory unchecked, in the next few years, the average Barbadian will be almost 60. So we have to be careful in terms of how we plan Barbados. You know, we have to make sure that we have events for seniors to be able to do. But as Victor said, this is not about getting old and laying around. This is about active aging.
Coordinator of the Games, Jasper Blades, revealed the other new disciplines on board this year.
When we approached car racing, the excitement was so much that they can't wait. The older guys around car racing said they need to challenge each other, and they have some guys that Mr. Young will know. We also have badminton this year. Badminton is finally coming on board, and the Badminton Association has, I know Ms. Barr Smith and Mr. Wood and those people are ready to play. We also have volleyball, and we will have not only court volleyball, but beach volleyball. We have brought on football and cricket. We are giving these sports opportunity to show and to see some of these old legends of cricket coming out to play.
The finals for track and field are slated for May 18th to 20th at the Usain Bolt Sports Complex. Crowd favorite Victor Young, who has won every age division he's competed in, says he'll be there.
70 to 74, he was champion in that division. 75 to 79, champion in that division. 80 to 84, champion in that division. And now, the guy from Trinidad, Rogers, seeing that I was not able to compete due to my daughter's graduation as a neurologist, I had to miss. So he's now got the 85 to 89 age group champion for Trinidad. But I am intended now to take that and make it 6.
Mr. Young is among several Senior Games athletes who will be highlighted in a new program called Road to Senior Games on the CBC over the next 8 weeks. Sharika Griffith, CBC News.
Barbados' 6th Commissioner of Police since independence, Grantley Watson, has been laid to rest. His life and legacy were celebrated in a service of thanksgiving at St. Thomas Parish Church. The career law enforcement officer who died on February the 3rd at the age of 80 was today accorded an official funeral with military honors. Joshua Hinkson reports.
President of Barbados, Her Excellency the Most Honorable Dame Sandra Basin, and Acting Prime Minister Santia Bradshaw headed a list of dignitaries who attended the funeral service for Grantley Watson, who was Commissioner of Police from 1995 to 2003 and later assumed the role of Executive Director of the Regional Security System until his retirement in 2017. Commissioner of Police Richard Boyce remembered Mr. Watson as a strong leader.
Commissioner Watson was never intimidated by the task before him. As a matter of fact, he acquitted himself well and led the division successfully. He was never one to shy away from making tough decisions when sensitive matters had to be dealt with. His management style at the Criminal Investigations Division was one of courage and oftentimes dictated by prevailing situations. Most importantly, he got the job done.
As it relates to his work with the Regional Security System, Deputy Director Graham Archer credits the late Commissioner for the institutional development of that organization.
We commend his leadership style and his character traits, which contributed to a highly professional organization, maturing in leaps and bounds, and punching well above its weight. Mr. Watson was a selfless individual and spent quite a lot of time sharing his personal and professional experiences with members of staff.
In paying tribute via a pre-recorded video, Prime Minister Mia Amor-Motley referred to the late commissioner as the consummate professional.
Yes, Grantley Watson was a man with an imposing physical stature and a voice that some may have described as stentorian. Away from the operations sphere, he was a pleasant and engaging man who loved a good joke and who could instantly pull from his memory an amusing anecdote to suit any occasion or conversation.
In her tribute, daughter Senator Tricia Watson, who enjoyed a close relationship with her father, spoke of him as a family man.
My father was my hero, my protector, my caregiver, confidant, sounding board, cheerleader, mentor, a friend in my adulthood. As a child at primary school, I must have bored my teachers thoroughly when they asked for us to write compositions with topics like my hero, the person I admired most, my favorite person, and inevitably I wrote about Grantley Watson.
Meanwhile, in his sermon where he underscored the importance of serving with love, the Reverend Canon George Knight encouraged the congregation to follow the example of the late commissioner.
Pursue love as your aim. We listened attentively to the various tributes paid to Grantley, and it is abundantly clear that it is that love that drove his life. He once said to me, we were talking one day, and he said to me, you know, when you are in a leadership position, you've got to learn to talk tough, but act gently.
With full military honors, the body of the late Police Commissioner Grantley Watson was interred in the Mount Pleasant Memorial Gardens in St. Peter. Mr. Watson is survived by his wife of 60 years, Anne, children Tricia, Winslow, and Ivor. Joshua Hinkson, CBC News.
Sports Night is brought to you by Power In. Pause is power. And by Dasani. Live first, Dasani after.
Time now for Sports Night, and with all the action, good evening, Mark Seal.
Very good evening. The local organizing committee for the upcoming ICC T20 World Cup has given the assurance that ongoing upgrades at Kensington Oval will be completed on time and that Barbadians will be afforded the opportunity to secure tickets for the highly anticipated Super 8 matches. CBC's Anmar Goodrich-Boyce tells us more.
With the ICC Cricket World Cup just 3 months away, officials are reporting steady progress to the work being done to upgrade Kensington Oval. Speaking during a media conference at Cricket Legends this morning, Chairman of the local organizing committee Noah Lynch says the region's Mecca will be ready to be handed over to the ICC by next month.
Kensington Oval is like 75% complete. In terms, we say 70 to 75% complete. Most of the stands, the Hewitt and Innes, Hall and Griffith, they are like almost like 80% complete as we speak today. The Greenwich and Haynes and the Players Pavilion, they are like maybe in the region of like 65% complete as we speak. Like Kensington overall, in terms of the lighting towers and everything go, I can say today we are like almost like 70%. We're almost there. We are 99% sure that we're going to deliver those facilities even before the deadline. The deadline is April 30th. We believe by April the 15th, we will have those facilities finished and be able to hand it over to Cricket World Cup or to ICC.
Lynch also revealed that of the 900,000 tickets made available, 200,000 were sold, and he assures Barbadians that a fair share will be accessible to locals.
We might have started out as a disadvantage, but we railed on Cricket West Indies and the ICC that tickets must be made available to our part of the world, that we must have Caribbean people in the stadium, Caribbean people, and those that have been the perennial supporters of cricket must be in that stadium. And we told them that. And what they've been able to do is being able to adjust the actions in a way that will allow Barbadians that really want to get into the stadium to be there.
Kensington Oval is set to host 9 matches in the T20 World Cup, which is slated to run in the Caribbean and the United States from June 1st to 29th, with the finals being held at the region's Mecca in Barbados. and Mark Gooderidge Boyce, CBC Sports.
The Business Report is brought to you with the kind compliments of the National Insurance and Social Security Service. More than a contribution, it's your lifeline.
In business tonight, an online course to further educate Barbadians on financial matters was unveiled today. It is an initiative of the Central Bank of Barbados. According to Governor Dr. Kevin Greenidge, it is part of the terms of reference of the bank and an effort to make Barbadians financially savvy. Trevor Thorpe reports.
The audience in the Grand Salle included the UWI's Young Economists Association, the Accounting Students Association of the UWI, members of the Barbados Association of Retired Persons, and financial influencers. And the governor said the initiative is also a way to improve economic growth in the country.
Beyond improving financial health and wealth, there's a larger purpose, and that is to build financial resilience among the population, which is by one person at a time.
The governor said at the same time, the initiative will also help to guard citizens against financial fraud and other dangers.
Our mandate is to maintain the health of the financial system and in such a way contribute to economic growth. The more persons are financially savvy and can make more financial savvy decisions, not only in terms of decisions, but also protecting themselves from fraud and exploitation, the more resilient we are to shocks, and the more we can grow the economy and prosper everyone and their well-being. So it's a program, an educational program. It will be digital, which means there's a website, probably a mobile app being developed, etc., and it will be broken down in modules.
People learn at different levels, and the bank official told the audience the program is laid out to cover all aspects of financing in a digital environment.
So we will then have persons sign on, and we execute the program over a number of weeks. Various instruments will be used to make it interactive, from simulations to real-life situation calculations that ingrain it. People learn differently, videos and presentation, etc. And with that program, when you graduate from the program, we believe that you will be more educated financially than when you began the program.
The central bank governor said the Money Smart initiative is to assist Barbadians in making the right financial choices and is for everyone. Trevor Thorpe for the Business Report.
A.S. Bryden has acquired control of Stansfeld Scott Barbados. The announcement was made in a release today. The owners of Stansfeld Scott, Brian Cabral, Indra Cabral and Jeshri Kesaram, will retain a minority interest, and two of them, Mr. Cabral and Ms. Kesaram, will remain as directors. They will work closely with A.S. Bryden's team to ensure a smooth transition for the employees, customers and suppliers. Barbados has inked a $50 million loan with the Inter-American Development Bank to support its efforts at boosting climate resilience of its coastal areas. Prime Minister Mia Amor Motley was present for a signing ceremony that took place during the annual meeting of the boards of governors of the IDB and IDB Invest in the Dominican Republic. The project, approved by the IDB board on January the 10th, is expected to benefit thousands of residents in coastal areas, including Oistins, Rockley Beach to St. Lawrence Gap, Clinkets, Sand Street, Mullins, and others who directly enjoy the beach's ecosystem services that make recreation and other activities possible. Prime Minister Motley says the funds come on the heels of the debt for nature swap the island was able to settle with the IDB and the Nature Conservancy in 2022. Let's get back over now to Mark Steele for even more sports. Mark.
Indeed, the Athletics Association of Barbados has selected 29 CRIFTA hopefuls who departed the island this afternoon to compete at the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Junior National Championships over the weekend. Among those selected are Ashlyn Simmons, Aidan Moore, Aragon Straker, Ania Nurse, Aaron Messiah, and Shanicia Bryan, who were all led by coach Ramon Armstrong.
This is in an effort to ensure that the athletes get the opportunity to run on a synthetic track before we get to CRIFTA, so that they can improve on their performances and also be in better shape, having had the opportunity to run on the synthetic track in St. Vincent. The one group of athletes that were not selected were the ones that taken part in the long and the triple, because they have had the type of surface that they would normally compete on, while all the other athletes have not had the same level of facility to compete on, particularly in the track events, where they've been running on 300-meter tracks, which involves more turns, tighter turns, that type of thing. So it gives them a better opportunity to raise the standard between now and Carifta.
Staying with track and field, there has been a reduction in the sitting capacity for the new National Stadium, which will be built on the same site as the old stadium at Waterford in St. Michael. It was announced earlier that the facility will have a sitting capacity of 10,000. However, in providing an update during the estimates debate, Minister of Sports, Charles Griffith, said the number has been adjusted to 8,000. He says officials are working to ensure the National Stadium is built out in the fullest way.
One of the things we're looking for is to have a complete situation at the stadium. So we are looking on the northern side, I believe, if my orientation is correct, to have a stand that mirror what is currently existing now. Because this is not only going to provide additional seating, but it allows an opportunity for us to have, in basic language, a wind barrier to help with the timing of those athletes. We were offered a 200 track. We are saying we want 400 because we're trying to keep with the international standards in relation to if you put in that type of money into a track.
Meantime, 13 mini stadia are currently being constructed across Barbados. Among the areas that will be home to those facilities are Briar Hall, Gall Hill, Friendship, and Greens. Now, in providing an update, Acting Director of Sports at the National Sports Council, Emerson Bascom, says 5 are at a stage where they are awaiting the installation of the bleachers, and the others are at various stages of completion.
The project was stalled somewhat, Mr. Chair, in 2022 based on the amount of rain that we had in Barbados. I will mention that PPC in October that the NCC had indicated that they would finish their part of the project by the end of December. But 2 things stopped that from occurring, Mr. Chair. One was, again, the issue of rain, and the second thing was the usual stoppage of work by C.O. Williams in December. However, the work is still ongoing. Like I said, there are various stages. The bleachers, some of the bleachers are here. The NCC was able to get most of the soil that they needed to continue the work, and that's the position that we are at right now.
Barbados are again in 3rd place after 7 rounds of the inaugural 50th anniversary CARICOM Chess Team Championship being played in Guyana. Last night in round 6, Barbados drew 2-2 with Guyana A team, and then today they defeated the Guyana B team 3-1 to improve their record to 4 wins, a draw, and 2 losses. The undefeated leaders, Trinidad and Tobago, have 14 match points. 2nd place Guyana A are on 12 and Barbados 11. Now, the ongoing match between Barbados and 4th place Jamaica will likely determine the bronze medalists. And centuries from skipper Rohit Sharma and Shubman Gill helped India maintain control of the 5th cricket test against England with a 255-run first innings lead so far in Dharamsala. The hosts finished day 2 on 473 for 8 in reply to England's first innings total of 218 all out. Sharma knocked 103 and Gill 110 in a 171-run second wicket partnership. That's sports. Pearson, back to you.
Thank you, Mark. Well, that's our time tonight. Thank you for spending it with us. I'm Pearson Bowen for the crew. To all of you, good night. Have yourselves a wonderful weekend.